We ended our last video with a question: how long would the political truce between Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani and President Donald Trump last? The answer, as of this morning, is precisely 48 hours. Just 2 days after the two men sat across a table in Washington to discuss New York's finances, Mamdani publicly stated he still views the president as a fascist. This is not a political slip. This is a deliberate, calculated ideological statement designed to reassure his base that the summit, which was widely criticized by some progressives, was merely a transactional detour, not a foundational compromise. Today, we dive into the fascinating tension between these two rivals, the public peace, the private conviction, and the political risk Mamdani takes by reigniting this highly volatile feud. And we will explore the question you raised. Did Zohran Mamdani manage to cast a surprising spell over the president in that room? Mamdani has a long documented history of using strong, explicit language regarding the Trump administration, labeling the president's actions as fascist throughout his campaign. The immediate need for the summit was clear. Mamdani required the president's assurance that vital federal funding would not be weaponized against his incoming administration. That goal, budgetary stability, was achieved. The president publicly agreed to work with him and even deflected a hostile question about the NYPD cuts. But to Mamdani's progressive coalition, that photo op with the president risked signaling compromise by immediately and publicly reaffirming his long-held, verifiable ideological position. Mamdani achieved two key objectives. 1. Base solidification. He signaled to his voters that the political deal made in Washington was purely transactional, and did not soften his fundamental belief that the Trump administration poses an existential threat to democracy. 2. Maintaining the mandate. He preserves his authority to fight the administration on every issue other than the budget, such as immigration, civil rights, and climate policy, ensuring his administration remains true to its ideological core. This move is incredibly high risk. By immediately returning to a position of conflict, Mamdani invites renewed federal retaliation, potentially undoing the hard-won peace on budgetary stability. However, the political gain is even higher. He successfully walked the tightrope of governing pragmatism, while maintaining ideological purity. The question for every political observer is this political arrogance or political genius? Based on the public footage and reports from the brief press conference, President Trump was surprisingly restrained. He didn't engage in his typical name-calling or rhetorical attacks. We analyzed 3 possible interpretations for this muted response, leaning into the idea that Mamdani may have momentarily disarmed his opponent. A. The strategic silence. The most cynical view. Trump was strategically silent, prioritizing the appearance of presidential dignity and waiting for a more advantageous time to attack, perhaps after Mamdani makes his first misstep on the NYPD budget. B. The unexpected charm. This is the captivating narrative. Mamdani, young, sharp, and confident, is a highly atypical political opponent. It's entirely possible that Mamdani, who is an accomplished debater and conversationalist, genuinely surprised the president with his intelligence and directness, earning a temporary measure of professional respect. C. The local tie. A factor often overlooked. New York City is President Trump's home turf. He has vested personal and business interests here. Publicly crippling the city's budget by cutting federal aid would be seen by many New Yorkers, even his supporters, as an act of self-sabotage and spite. The temporary truce protects his image as a New Yorker who cares about the city's functional stability. The combination of the local tie and Mamdani's unexpected demeanor likely contributed to the president's uncharacteristic restraint. By reigniting the federal feud, Mamdani has defined his first year as mayor in terms of perpetual conflict. He is now fighting a two-front war. 1. The federal front, against the Trump administration, where he risks retaliatory budget cuts. 2. The local front, against the entrenched power of the PBA, over the $600 million reallocation, and the real estate lobby, over his verifiable plan to push for the pied-à-terre tax. The need for highly competent and ideologically aligned cabinet officials has never been more urgent. Mamdani needs to fill 2 critical roles immediately to prove the transition is functional despite the chaos. 1. Commissioner of the Department of Finance, needed to execute the tax hammer agenda. 2. Chief of the Department of Community Safety, The new head needed to absorb the reallocated NYPD funds and provide credible alternative safety services. The immediate fallout from the fascist statement means his next appointments must be uncompromisingly strong to withstand the incoming political pressure. Mamdani's strategic decision to meet Trump was about prudence. His decision to immediately call him a fascist again was about principle. He successfully used the one to neutralize the threat and the other to energize his movement. This is a mayor-elect who governs through conflict. But can he sustain a two-front war against both Washington and the city's powerful local interests? That will be the definitive question of his first 100 days. Let me know in the comments. Do you think Mamdani should have maintained the truce? Or was he right to reaffirm his ideological conviction? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out the Mamdani dossier playlist for our full background analysis.